Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here at the Red Flex, the only channel in the whole wide world that's run by four brothers. But unfortunately, there's only two of us here right now. Due to technical difficulties, two of them couldn't make it here. But Abdul, thank you very much for joining me here today.
Hopefully we'll have a great Champions League draw. So let's see how it goes.
I'm going to be very honest with you guys. We were scheduled to go on at 4 o'clock, but just like UEFA always do every year, they like to prolong things. I think we've got some movement here, but we'll quickly have a chat in relation to each of the four pots. So pot one has Bayern Munich, Seville, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Juventus, PSG, Zenit, and Porto. But the most important pot that we are interested in is the pot that Manchester United will be in, and that is pot two. We're also joined by Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Shakhtar Donetsk, Dortmund, Chelsea, and Ajax. Abdul, can I get your quick thoughts in terms of, can Manchester United win the Champions League this year, or is that just dream talk and that's not going to happen?
I think if anyone genuinely believes Manchester United are going to win the Champions League, they're living in a dreamland. It's not going to happen. You never know, obviously. We've had teams like Porto win the Champions League. So it is possible, I guess. But if we are realistic, we'll be happy, in my opinion, to probably make the quarterfinals. I can't see us getting any further than that, to be honest, unless we have like an amazing goal from out of the blue, like Fernandes special, etc. Other than that, I can't really see us going past that stage unless we strengthen our team significantly between now and the end of the transfer window.
I think we'll discuss in a little bit more detail about any possible transfer speculation. I think there has been a little bit of movement in the last 24 hours. But focusing on the Champions League draw, do you think it's fair to say, and it's probably the only way that we might have a chance, the best team doesn't always win the Champions League, and that's where maybe...
Totally agree, yeah. Because it is a cup competition, so anyone can win. You don't have to be the necessarily, just like with the league system, obviously, the best team usually gets to the top. In a cup kind of format, like FA Cup, League Cup, not always the best team in that competition is going to win. It is over two legs. So usually the best teams do get towards the kind of latter stages of the Champions League. But again, you never know. Like I said earlier, anything can happen. Let's see how it goes. I think the draw is live as we speak.
Yeah, once again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us here at the Red Flex. We are live, we are exclusive, and we're going to bring you up to minute-by-minute reaction on Manchester United's draw. From what I can see at the moment, UEFA are up to their old tricks, and they're playing some videos and some highlights. So as soon as we've got anything in terms of the draw, we will tell you first. Looking at part one, Abdul, obviously, we've got the reigning, defending UEFA Champions League winners, which seems like not so long ago, Bayern Munich. Can they do it again?
They certainly can. They're a fantastic team. I think only team who can compete with them, to be honest, I would say is Liverpool. As much as I hate to say that, I think Liverpool.
We will not have talk on this channel. We will not have that.
We will not talk about Liverpool again. Okay, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think there's not many teams who can live with Bayern Munich. The kind of brand of football they play is exceptional. And I do think, once again, they are going to be the favourites.
I think we're getting some comments in here as well. SYG169, thank you very much for getting in contact with us today. He says, no chance, quarters max. Would you take a quarterfinal? I think I'd take that straight away.
Yeah, because we've been in the kind of Europa League for a while. We get to the quarters, then following season we can maybe build on that, and then obviously between now And next season, hopefully, we can improve our squad. I think the kind of starting 11's pretty good. I think the issue we had towards the end of last season as well was we had an issue with the kind of squad kind of depth. It's not good enough. We've got players like your favourite player, Dan James, who are very close to getting the starting 11. And I do agree in a way with what you're saying. If he's going to start against the big teams, we're not going to cause them any problems.
Well, let's just hope that Daniel James has played his last game for Manchester United. Nothing against him. I mean, he's a young lad. He's come from Swansea. He's joined Manchester United. So in terms of, that context, he's done very well to get where he is. But, in terms of our job here is to critique and to find out, what opinions are. But I personally 100%. Think he's not to the standard of Manchester United. I'm having a quick glance again. UEFA interviewing people, so we're not getting any closer to the draw. So what I'll do is let me focus on some of the other teams that are in pot one. I think we're getting some more comments here. Thank you very much to Hayan, who's contacted us as well. He has...
You're saying quite a lot, actually, isn't it?
He's mentioned quite a lot. He's watching along, so thank you very much to you, Hayan. Looking at pot one, there's Seville, who's in there as well, who knocked us out in the semi-final of the Europa League. Is it going to be destiny? We're going to get them again?
It is possible, isn't it? So they're in pot one, we're in pot two. I'd actually love it if we get Sevilla in pot one.
Get a chance for some retribution.
Retribution, and they're probably one of the weakest teams in the pot as well. So I'd actually be quite pleased with that. Although, obviously, saying that, they did take Bayern Munich very close, didn't they, in the Super Cup? So they are a good team. But compared to what else is in there, obviously, we're not able to face Liverpool. So we could have Bayern, Madrid, Juventus, PSG, Zenit, Porto. Obviously, we'd take Zenit, we'll take Porto, take Sevilla. Any of those three, to be honest. Yeah, I'll be very happy with that.
I think the best situation for Manchester United, in my opinion, from pot one anyway, is probably going to be Zenit and Porto, like you said. Worst case scenario, who would you say that is from pot one?
Worst case is going to be Bayern Munich, of course. We need to make sure they're not in our kind of group. If they are, I mean, we still got a chance to finish in second place. But again, if you look at the pots, there are some strong teams in pot 3 and pot 4, to be honest, who would cause us problems, because we are not the best team in Europe.
No, I totally agree with you on that one. Focusing on pot 3 and pot 4, we haven't really discussed that yet. I'm having a quick look. Are we any closer? Looks like they're interviewing at the moment. So we'll go through pot 3 and pot 4. Looking at pot 3 for a moment, we've got Red Bull Leipzig. We've got Inter Milan, or should we call them Inter United? They've got quite a few of our players.
Oh, our rejects, but they seem to be doing really well, aren't they, with our rejects?
Maybe they need to take Phil Jones as well. Maybe that can happen on deadline day. We've got Lazio, Atalanta, who had a great season last season. They've started this season very well as well. Olympiacos, Dynamo Kiev, Krasnodar, I don't know. I've not heard of them before. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. And Red Bull Salzburg. From that, who do you think we should be looking to avoid, and who's the ideal situation?
Well, teams like Inter Milan, as I said. So this pot 3's got some good teams in it. So we need to avoid teams like Inter Milan. I think Leipzig were really good last year.
They were.
So we need to avoid them, definitely. For a team in pot 3, they're very dangerous. Lazio, I think, are pretty good. Atlanta, not really seen them that much, to be honest. So I'm not really sure whether they could cause any issues. But obviously, if they've made it into the Champions League, they must be a good team, because they are playing in a strong league. Teams like Krasnodar, maybe Salzburg, I think we can kind of beat them. Dynamo Kiev, So we could probably, So even to be fair, Olympiacos, we could actually. I think that would be decent. It's probably 2 or 3 teams we need to avoid if we can.
No, I totally agree with you there. Some of them are unknowns, which again poses its own threat. Looking at some of the comments again, SYG169 says it's a chance for some of the players to enhance their reputation, and he follows on to say chance for Man United to gain some respect in Europe. I think I kind of agree with that. Do you think Man United have lost that fear factor? They've lost that kind of, that myth to them. And some of the teams, especially you see in the Premier League, you find previously we've won the game in the tunnel most of the times. But do you think that we've kind of lost that, and that's where we're causing some problems as well in terms of our poor results over the last few years?
100%. I think, as lots of ex-players used to say, we used to go to Old Trafford and we knew we were going to lose. So they had that mentality that they were not going to win at Old Trafford, and whatever they were doing was just a bonus game for them. But I don't think that's the case anymore. Although saying that, under Ollie, we are slightly improving our home record. It's not still the best. It's not as good as it used to be anyway. A lot of teams come to Old Trafford thinking they can get a result now. So even I think any team who comes to Old Trafford in the Champions League will think they've got a chance of winning, to be honest. Even if they're in pot 3, pot 4, I don't think Man United, only if we can sign some players, which maybe we can talk about later, maybe then you might instill a slight fear factor. But I think any team is going to think that they've got a decent chance at Old Trafford, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep going back to it, but I think under Sir Alex Ferguson, I remember season after season, we'd have 15 wins out of 19 or even 17 or 18. I think those days, it's probably going to take a little bit of time to get back to those days. Having a look across, I think there is some movement in terms of pot 1. I think Atletico Madrid.
Okay.
Atletico Madrid have been drawn out, and we'll be going into Group A. Just to remind everybody, the format of the Champions League draw, there's 32 teams that will be split across 8 teams. Split across 8 groups, and you can't play teams from the same country.
I'm sure they're doing pot 2 now, I think. So I think they've done pot 1, in fact.
So they seem to have drawn Chelsea out as well, which I believe are...
They're pot 2. So let's have a look. Let's see what's going on here. So adding some more balls into the mix there. So let's have a look. Okay, so someone's going into Group E. So that's Chelsea in Group E. Okay.
So Chelsea have gone in the group with Seville. So it looks like the group or pot A teams have been designated a group, but as soon as Manchester United are drawn out, we will keep you posted if and when that is. I believe Barcelona have come out as well now. If I can quickly go to pot 4 while we wait for any updates with Manchester United. A lot of the teams are unknown. You've got Marseille. I think we've got Michelin, which we faced in the Europa League. I think that's where Rashford really came to the forefront. Anybody there that you'd want to avoid?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think any German team I would avoid. So Borussia Mönchengladbach I'd probably avoid, because the Germany is very strong. They've got like a great, in the league, they seem to have a very kind of interesting style of play in the German league, I think, where they play high press. I think most teams are playing that. And for Manchester United, I think that would cause the problems. Other than that, to be honest, I mean, I still think these teams, most of these teams will when they come to Old Trafford, I don't think they're going to be overawed, to be honest. but they're not the best teams. These are probably like Europa League standard teams, most of these now. So if we could probably potentially would have faced them in the latter stages. These teams are probably going to go into the Europa League anyway. Most of the teams will not be getting through to the Champions League, round of 16 anyway.
So while we still wait, I think Ajax have come out as well. Didier Drogba is about to reveal another team from Pot 2. So let's have a quick look. And the next team out is Shakhtar Donetsk. So while they allocate them a group, just having a look quickly at all of the pots, potentially we could be in a group with Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, and Marseille. Would you say that would be the group of death?
That could be potentially the group of death. I agree with that. I mean, I'm not sure whether Marseille are better than Borussia Mönchengladbach, but probably the same level. So yeah, potentially that could be the toughest draw that we have. Let's just see what we end up with. So we must be very close to getting drawn out now. Maybe so. Yeah, so that's Dortmund.
So Dortmund have come out next. So
I don't think there's many teams left now.
Yeah, I think it should be ourselves that should be coming out next.
Not sure if Man City have been drawn yet. Okay, interesting. So they've got into the pot with Zenit St. Petersburg. So let's see who United get. So I'm not sure. I don't think we've got that many options left in terms of which one we're going to go into. Here we go.
And Manchester United have been drawn out. So SYG 169 again mentioned.
I think it's saying we can only go into Group H. We've only got Group H as an option, I think.
So let's see.
Oh, it's Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG, a repeat
that will be
of Ole's finest moment.
That's going to be an amazing tie. They've got some unbelievable players in their team. That is going to be a hell of a game at Old Trafford and a hell of a game in France, in Paris.
I think it'd be the return of Ander Herrera since he left Manchester United to go there.
Yeah, so I think most of the fans will be looking forward for his return, to be honest, because he did do well whilst he was there. Although at times he was underrated, at times he was overhyped. He wasn't world class, but he used to give his all, and he used to have that great connection with the fans, I think.
It's two ties that really kind of whet the appetite and really makes you feel like when that Champions League music hits, those Tuesday, Wednesday evenings, makes you really anticipate it. I think there seems to be a video. I think they might be going to the player awards now, it seems.
Yeah.
To the midfielder of the year. Let's have a look at what's...
Yeah. So, but just in regards to that draw, that will feel like a proper Champions League night. That's what we've been missing playing against these big teams, top teams. In the Europa League, you don't get this level of opposition. I think it'll be a fantastic night of football over those two matches.
So let's try and kind of review what's happened so far. So Group A, we've got Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich, which, again, two heavyweights in that division. Chelsea have been drawn in Group E with Sevilla. And somehow this has kind of gone under the radar here. I think we were too busy discussing.
Maybe we're too busy talking, to be fair. Yeah.
Group G, Barcelona have been drawn alongside Juventus. So it's going to be Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo all over again. What's your thoughts?
That is going to be unbelievable. At one point over the summer, Messi was linked to Juventus as well. That would have been an unbelievable experience to watch both of these, probably the best two players in the history of football to be in the same football club. Imagine that. Imagine if he actually did join Juventus. That'd been unbelievable. Even this matchup, though, it's hard to compare. I think they're two very different players, but it'll be an amazing match for sure.
So while we're on the topic, and we're waiting for them to dish out another award, are you Team Messi or are you Team Ronaldo?
100% Team Ronaldo. I think he's done it in many different leagues. He's performed in a lot of different leagues. And he's been an unbelievable player in each of those leagues he's actually been in. With Messi, I'm sure he'll do well in every other league, but it doesn't look like he's ever going to leave. Maybe next season he might. I think they've got an agreement for another season, maybe. But yeah, I do think he's probably more adaptable to play in probably every league in the world because of his height, because of his strength, because of his heading ability, which is unbelievable. So that's probably why I'd probably just edge it towards Ronaldo. But I think both of them are, as I mentioned earlier, two of the best players in the world ever.
Yeah, and I think they were mentioning it before. It's the first time Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi have not been nominated for UEFA Player of the Year, but they have dominated for quite a while. Let's see if we can see what other groups have been drawn so far while we wait for the draw to carry on. Dortmund are in Group F with Zenit St. Petersburg and Man City. Here we go. Yeah, so Man City are in Group C with FC Porto. I think they'll be happy with that draw. And Liverpool are in Group D with Ajax. I think the English clubs so far, apart from ourselves, are going to be pretty happy with the draw. So that's been made.
Yeah, I think Man City have got, once again, I think SYG169 also mentioned this in the comments. City, yet again, have got an easy draw so far. Let's hope they get some teams which will make it slightly more challenging for them, to be honest.
Even though this is a Man United channel and we all love Manchester United, can I ask you this question? Will it be Guardiola's year this year? And if it's not, will he need to leave? Will that be the end of Pep Guardiola?
To be honest, I don't really care if they win the Champions League or not. But if they do, it means we haven't. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League. I think Pep Guardiola, I can't see him staying any longer, to be honest, or much longer, maybe another couple of seasons. Once he does go, Man City have already got quite a few issues anyway. Will they kind of implode? Will they self-implode? Who knows? Depends on who they get next, because they've got a really kind of defined way of playing. And a new manager that comes in will obviously try and change the way they play to suit the way they want to play. So that could be an issue. I can't see Man City kind of dominating the Premier League once Guardiola leaves, unless they bring in another stellar manager, which is possible.
Will they go for Ole?
Definitely not. I don't think. I know it's a Man United channel here. I don't think there'll be many fans who are going to say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a world-class manager. He's not. I think he's developing as a manager. I think he's underrated, to be fair. A lot of pundits, a lot of ex-players, a lot of fans. As soon as we lose a couple of games, Ole out, Ole out. Either if we're going to back him, we need to back him. I think he's doing much better than other managers we've had, and they've supposedly been world-class. We can clearly see what he's trying to do. And I think we've mentioned this in the last two shows. At the moment, Manchester United players are not fit enough, not sharp enough. Whose fault that is? Obviously, the book has to start with the manager, but obviously we had an extended Europa League campaign. We had to give them a certain amount of rest, which we were not able to do, and we had to do what we've done is effectively have a pre-season during the league campaign.
I mean, if you were in charge of Manchester United in hindsight, would you say it was a mistake to play the first 11 in the Europa League like we did after we'd already finished third? Is that going to come back to cost us?
I think in hindsight, yes, but at the time, I think most Manchester United fans would have been gunning for us to win the Europa League. I don't remember many fans that I spoke to at the time who said, "Oh, let's not play our first 11 because we don't want to win this trophy." I think we were on a high at the time. We were playing really well in the league. We just finished third. We thought we could probably go and win the Europa League. Just to get that first trophy under Oli, that will make a massive difference, I think, to the young players we've got in the team.
Do you think it's a change of times that we are celebrating winning the Europa League or the prospect of winning the Europa League? In my opinion, I think it's a very sad state of affairs that it's come to this.
I agree with that. I think at the moment, that's where we're at. I think Jose Mourinho said that as well when we won the Europa League. We finished second. He said that was for him, that was his best ever achievement. I can see why he was saying that, to be honest. He did really well with that squad that we had. Somehow we finished second, won the Europa League. But I think he was really pleased with that because I think he knew potentially at that time our level was Europa League.
Was it really his greatest achievement?
No, it's probably not. But no, 100% it wasn't. But I think the point he was trying to make is with the players he had at his disposal, he overachieved. At the time, not many people would have actually agreed with that. They think, no, he's just doing that just to hype up the season he's had. But I think he was right. Afterwards, we would have actually seen what happened to us when we had the following season and the season after that. We've not done anything, to be honest, since that. We finished second. If you think about that, we'd be very pleased with that if we finished second this season. I think they're about to start the pot 3 draw here. So let's see.
Yeah, I think pot 3 has just started.
Let's see how that goes.
I think Krasnodar, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they go in the group with Chelsea and Seville, I believe. If we have a quick recap of pot 3, so Krasnodar have already been drawn out. We've still got Red Bull, Salzburg, Dynamo Kiev, Olympiacos, Atalanta, Lazio, Inter Milan, and Leipzig. Surely not. Are we going to get Inter Milan as well?
Let's see how it goes. Hopefully not. That'll be potentially the group of death. There's always at least one of those. We don't want to be in there. We don't want that. Because then if we get Inter Milan, it's going to be tough to finish second place.
Will it be another season in the Europa League after knocking it already?
Could potentially finish third. Let's see how it goes anyway. So I think we kind of, based on the season so far, probably why we're slightly underwhelmed with our performances, and maybe that's why we're thinking we're not even going to qualify for the group stages. But let's see who we get after the international break. We're probably going to improve anyway.
Oh, so there has been an update with the Manchester United group. Red Bull Leipzig, last year's semi-finalists, are in Group H with PSG and Manchester United. Wow. Thoughts?
As I mentioned, they're one of the teams I mentioned in that pot who we needed to avoid, to be honest. So that's going to be a hell of a group.
I think with Red Bull Leipzig, I think Timo Werner, who's joined Chelsea, was one of their main attacking players. That isn't going to be there anymore. They've done really well in the Bundesliga over the last few years. PSG, Red Bull Leipzig. Are we going to pick anything up away from home there, that's going to be really difficult. I think it's unfortunate that the draw that we've had so far, I think it's going to be very difficult for us to get out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leipzig, they are a good team, and they showed that last season, especially I think when they faced Tottenham. They played really well, but at the time, Tottenham were not the same Tottenham that I think they are now. I think they've improved a lot since then.
Yeah.
But Leipzig did look really good, to be fair. So again, I think that's going to be a tough draw, tough match.
We've got comments from, again, SYG169. Thank you very much for getting in touch with us. He's put it quite simpler. He says, group of death. I think we've already discussed this. There's some tough groups already from the looks of it. And Manchester United seem to have one of the toughest. Looking at what's going on in some of the other groups, I think Atalanta have been drawn out with Ajax and Liverpool. So that might be a tricky group for Liverpool, but you'd still fully expect them to get through that one. And I think Dynamo Kiev have just gone into the group with Barcelona and Juventus. Don't think they will be very pleased with that one either. I think while we wait for the draw to come around again for pot 4 for Manchester United, we'll have a quick discussion about some transfers over the last 24 hours. I think Gary Neville tweeted yesterday that he thought it was appalling in terms of Manchester United's transfer dealings. You have to agree with what he said there. He's gone on to say that Man United need to make 3 transfers: a left back, centre back, and a striker. There's talks that we're haggling over 5-6 million euro for Alex Telles. I think Gianluca Di Marzio, who's quite a respected online figure who knows a lot about the transfer, says that we're in talks with Edison Cavani for a free transfer. Also talks with Real Madrid for Luka Jovic on loan. Obviously, there's talks yesterday that Harris said in our video about Dembele. So I think I'll take this opportunity to get your thoughts on those transfers. Are they the right kind of players that we should be going for? What are your thoughts? Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, let's firstly start with the left back. I know we linked to Telles. I mean, he's playing in the Portuguese league, so he seems to be quite an attacking fullback, which is probably what we've been missing, to be fair. He seems quite good on the ball. He can dribble quite well as well, past players. Is he able to kind of replicate what he's done in Portugal in the Premiership straight away? Probably not. Probably need some time to bed in. Can we afford to give someone time to bed in? Because I'm assuming he's going to go in the starting 11. Although I've got nothing against Luke Shaw, to be honest. I think Luke Shaw is someone who seems to get a lot of stick online for some reason, a lot of stick from ex-pundits that are not ex-United players. I do think he's probably one of the best left backs in the league, to be honest. I know not many people will agree with that. The only thing you need to improve on is kind of, he doesn't seem to deliver many balls into the box for some reason. He seems to want to just go for the easy pass. He doesn't want to go past that last man, go to the byline and cross it in. That's probably what we're missing. And I think Telles can offer that. But is he able to perform in a stronger league straight away? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, with Luke Shaw, I think he's obviously had some issues with his weight over the years. He's had a few injuries. I think he's one of those players that needs a run of games to hit top form. But when he is in that form, he can be a very productive player on the left-hand side. So yeah, I think, is it a top of our list to get some competition for him? Probably not. But if somebody's obviously of the required standard, then obviously you're always looking for competition for each position. I'd just like to get your thoughts on Edison Cavani. He's available on a free transfer. Is it worth a punt?
It's worth a punt. I mean, he's been a world-class player for a long time now, but does that transfer fit in with Ole's kind of vision for Manchester United, which has been young players and especially young British players? So it'll be a confusing signing, but I can understand why they would go for that signing because he's a top striker. And maybe at his age, maybe he wouldn't be expecting to start every single game. Maybe he's not able to play every single game due to his age now. But unbelievable finisher. In a way, kind of reminds me of Ruud van Nistelrooy. Kind of got that kind of swagger about him in the box, lethal in the box. So yeah, I mean, will be a great signing. We need strength in depth, especially for our Champions League campaign, especially with the teams we're going to play. If we do sign Cavani, that'll be interesting to see him against his former club, PSG.
Yeah, there's that would be an interesting return for Edison Cavani. I've seen an interesting tweet sent out by the Sky Sports Premier League account. They mentioned, and I know it's a topic that nobody really wants to discuss, but I found it interesting that they tweeted that Jadon Sancho expects to be a Manchester United player by the end of the transfer window. The merry-go-round seems to keep going and going and going on this one. Your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of different fan channels who seem to talk about Sancho. Some are saying he's not going to join. Some are saying they're not sure. And there's one in particular seems to think there's a 90% chance of Sancho joining, and he has maintained that throughout the summer. So let's see what happens. I mean, if we've made a bid and it's actually true, we've made a bid, we're just falling short of their valuation, I'm pretty certain we are going to come in with another bid before the end of the transfer window. So yeah, I mean, I hope we sign Sancho. Do we need Sancho? Or do we need just someone who's a quality right winger? We can get someone for half the price. I'd be happy with that, to be honest. He's someone, even if he's maybe doesn't have the same level of ability, but based on what we've got at the moment and based on the kind of needs we have in our squad, we need to kind of distribute the funds as much as we can for the squad. If we spend over £100 million on one player, what do we have left? Are we going to sign anyone else? I know we've been linked with Cavani for a free transfer. Obviously, that's not going to cost us any money as a transfer fee, but his wages are going to be very, very high. Again, so that eats up the kind of budget we have in place. If we sign Sancho, I can't see us signing many other players, to be honest. If we sign players on loan, unless we get people on loan, because we have been linked to most of these players on loan, to be honest. Douglas Costa, Dembele, a lot of players. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, so there's talks that Jadon Sancho has a viral infection. I think that kind of got people talking. Whether or not that's actually true, whether is he missing the game because he's trying to force a move to Man United, we don't know. Another question that I'd like to pose to you is: do Man United actually have the money to get these transfers done? There's been a lot of talk that, especially with some of the pundits out there, that they don't actually believe. I think it's Tim Sherwood, who's gone on quite a few occasions and says that he believes that Manchester United are actually broke and they can't afford these transfers. What's your thoughts on that?
I think there's a stat saying we're going to lose over £100 million over the season with not having any fans, with an empty stadium in place for the whole year. So we are going to have a problem. There's going to be a shortfall of funds somewhere. We've got some additional funds coming in compared to last season because of the Champions League. We've got hell of a lot of sponsorship deals anyway. A lot of sponsorship deals. So I think we'll be all right. And plus, whether or not this is confirmed or not, there was a rumour we actually took out £150 million loan over the summer for transfers.
Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah.
Where's is the money going to get spent for transfers? Was it true? I think we'll only know after the transfer window has actually passed us by, whether we were able to spend any money, whether we have brought anyone in. Because even if we sign people on loan, we're going to have to pay, if not all the wages, most of the wage. I think with Dembele, I think we were going to pay his entire wage, apparently. So money, and they're going to pay a loan fee, I'm guessing. If it's a loan, there's rumours that it could be a kind of permanent transfer. That could be it. But I think it's better to sign these players who are injury prone on loan to see how they do, with an option to buy for the following season. And that way, if they want to play for Manchester United, they have to perform. If it's just a normal loan, no one's going to go back. I don't think they're going to play that well. They won't be that bothered. So it's important we get the right kind of transfers in place.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Just before we carry on with the transfer talk, I just want to go and kind of recap what's happened so far for anybody that's missed it. So Manchester United have been drawn in Group H with PSG and Red Bull Leipzig. Other English teams, Liverpool are in Group D with Ajax and Atalanta. And Manchester City are in Group C with Porto and Olympiacos. Quickly, just talking about transfers, I just want to focus on players that are on the way out and what kind of what we've read in the newspapers and on social media. There's talks that Chris Smalling's nearly on the way out and he's going to Roma. I think Lingard didn't start against Brighton. That maybe is something going to be there for him. Phil Jones seems to be injured every transfer window, so he might not be going out. In terms of players going out, what do you think? I think Pereira's probably already gone as well. Who do you think we should be looking to get out?
I think it's a hell of a lot of players that we could potentially get rid of here. As you mentioned, Phil Jones, is he fit? Is he not fit? Who knows? He's someone who needs to play football. So I don't know why he'd want to stay in the reserves and not play any football for his own career. I'm not sure how old he is now. Is he 27, 28, 29, something like that? He needs to play football. So he should be itching for a move away. I'm sure there'll be some teams who will take a punt on him, knowing that if he's fit and he plays a string of games, I think he is a good defender, because he has shown that at times over the last few seasons. I think they're continuing with the draw now, so let's see what. So I think we've been drawn with Marseille. So again, they're one of the teams we just mentioned who we needed to avoid.
Marseille have been.
I think from what I can see, they've gone into Group H.
From what I can see, I believe that's the Man City group. But
Is it? Let's have a look. Just literally saw the last second of the graphic they had up. So I'm not. I think it's in Manchester United. I saw something that said Manchester anyway. So let's see.
I think it definitely livens that group up: Porto, Olympiacos, Marseille. But I think Man City should have enough to get through. Just again, I just want to say thank you for everybody that's tuned in to the Red Flex, the only channel in the whole world that is covered by four brothers. And again, there's only two of us that's here today, but we will get everybody's reaction in our next video, which will be following the game against Tottenham. Let's focus on the draw as it happens before we wrap up this video, and see who the fourth team is that goes into Manchester United's group. So I think we've still got Lokomotiv Moscow. I think it's Mönchengladbach that we could get. Michelin, Rennes, and a few others. I think surely we should get somebody that we've got a chance against winning, surely.
Yeah, you will think so. In pot 4, I think I mentioned earlier as well, most of these teams are kind of Europa League standard. So yeah, we seem to do quite well in Europa League. So I think we'll do well against most of these teams. Just Marseille and Borussia Mönchengladbach are the two we probably need to avoid from this group.
I think we've had another comment from SYG169. He states, we are going to struggle to qualify. I think we've had a discussion about this already. Hopefully, we could maybe beat Leipzig at home. The PSG game, obviously home and away, is going to be difficult. And depending on who we get as the fourth team, I think it's going to be a difficult task, and it's
Here we go. I
most
think
probably
someone's.
going to end
In
us.
fact, we've just got Istanbul, so they've gone into Group H.
So Istanbul have gone into Group H with a group. So just to recap, so that's PSG, Manchester United, Istanbul, and Red Bull Leipzig. Just before we finish today, then, with today's reaction on Manchester United's Champions League draw, I'm just going to ask you a question. Will Manchester United qualify for the next stage of the Champions League?
Yes, so I am still confident we can get through. I'm not sure if it's going to be first place or not, but I think between the three top seeds in the group, so between PSG, Manchester United, and Leipzig, I think a lot of teams will take a lot of points of each other. So that will kind of make it hopefully a bit easier for us to qualify. I think every team is going to beat Istanbul, probably home and away. So it's going to go down to our head-to-head against those two teams, I think. I think we can qualify. If we win our home games, I think we've got a fantastic chance. It's going to be tough, depending on, obviously, the form we're in at the time. Hopefully the players are a lot sharper, a lot more fitter than they currently are. If that is the case, and we can bring back the form we had just after we started playing again after lockdown, at that point in time, we were playing some phenomenal football compared to what we're used to. So maybe it wasn't actually that great, but for us, it seemed amazing because compared to what we saw before the lockdown, wasn't great. So I think we've got a great chance of actually getting through. First place is going to be very difficult. Second place, I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think we're heading to the Europa League, but I hope I'm proved wrong. But Abdul, thank you very much for actually showing up today, taking this gig seriously.
I was here in the last show as well. It was just the first show that I missed, unfortunately.
No, but thank you very much for joining me in today's live stream for the Champions League draw. We will be back following the Tottenham game, where we will discuss the reaction and we'll discuss who the best players were and so on. But until then, thank you very much.
Just before we go, just got something I would like to say. So our channel that we've actually got, the Red Flex, it's obviously we are four brothers. We're Asian, and if we think about that, Asian people don't tend to have a voice in football. So this is kind of something new that we're trying to do, and we would really appreciate the support of fans, because again, if we look at how many Asians do we have actually playing in the top flight, how many Asians do we have playing professional football, it seems to be the case that they think Asians don't know anything about football. And I've got that impression sometimes when I've had conversations with people. And then when we do talk about it, people do seem to kind of, they seem quite shocked that you seem to know quite a lot about football. What's your view on that, Kasim?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look in the media in terms of representation, I think there's obviously a lot of talk in terms of managers and people in the game. But I think with what we're doing, obviously, thank you very much for all the support, that we've had so far. Hopefully together we can, take this channel to new heights, and we've got a voice that, can be heard and, prove people wrong. But I think it's a topic that we could go on and on about. And it'd be interesting to see what, Usman and Harris have got to say about it as well. I'd love to get some questions about it going forwards. Probably not enough time for us to get this.
It's not
To the
something we
bottom
could
of
do
it.
today, but I think it's something that we needed to kind of say.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because I've not seen any channels that have kind of Asians on there. I mean, it's not that if it's not Asians, it's bad. I'm just saying that there doesn't seem to be many Asian people involved or have any sort of link to football. And that's what we're trying to do, I think, on our channel.
No, absolutely. And I think with the support and the feedback that we've had so far, it's been very positive.
It's been great. It's been
and
great.
I think
yeah.
over the coming weeks and months, hopefully we can take the Red Flex to new heights. But again, Abdul, thank you very much for joining me today.
It's been an honor. It's been really exciting with the draw, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. Join us next time, where all four of us will be here, hopefully live
anyway.
with you for the Tottenham game. But until then, we are the Red Flex, and we are the only channel in the world that are run by four brothers. Thank you very much, and hopefully you can join us next time. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.